Mike Riley alongside Scott Barboza, high school editor, ESPNBoston.com, here at the TD Garden in Boston as we recap the first round of the Super 8 Boys Hockey Tournament. 4 great games today, Scott. Started with Austin Prep and Central Catholic, a 2-1 win for Austin Prep. And really, Austin Prep came out of the gate swinging with 2 early goals in this one.
Yeah, really almost before I think people really settled into the stands here, there was already a 2-goal lead for Austin Prep, and that pretty much hold up for them. They scored both of their goals in the first 3 minutes. Bobo Carpenter and Jake McKinley, 2 kids that have, obviously been a huge part of that program for the last couple of years. Super 8 finalists that were in this building a year ago. Fell a little bit short there, but a very impressive start from that group. And Central Catholic started to feel a little bit in the third period, but just a little bit too hesitant to start. Talking to Christian Thompson after the game, he felt like this team came out a little bit flat here tonight, and I'd expect a better effort from them. It was a pretty even game, I think, for the bulk, minus again that first period flurry for AP to start. But I think that really should be one of the more competitive series that we have here, and I would truly expect to see that go 3 games.
And the second game was Springfield Cathedral and Duxbury. Duxbury, the only public school in this tournament, by the way. A 4-1 win for Springfield Cathedral over Duxbury. That really doesn't tell the story of this game, though.
No, I mean, it was ostensibly a 2-1 game late in the third period, and then, of course, a breakaway goal from Peter Cronella, again showing why he's one of the top players in the state again this year, and then an empty netter to ice it for the 4th goal there. So not really, more kind of a 2-1 game than a 2-goal game. I think the one thing that I came away with from that game was watching how aggressive the Panthers remain. They are among the top leading scorers of the state. You look at the leaderboards, every offensive statistical category, they're among the state leaders, which is very impressive for a Division I program. You don't usually see that, out of Division III programs where the games are a little bit more open. The Panthers like to keep the pedal to the metal, and they did exactly that here today. You saw Cronelli, you saw DJ Petrozzulli, another one of their Division I commits, of which there are many on this team. They like to play high in the zone, and they really took it to Duxbury in that regard. We'll get into that a little bit later perhaps, but I think Duxbury is going to need to make a little bit of an adjustment there. They played the team defensive game that they had to. Again, they're a very good neutral zone team, as I've said all year. But again, Cathedral really coming out, taking the game to them. I think that was the key to the game, and obviously with Cornella's 3rd goal that iced it, I think that was the key to the game. Came straight through the neutral zone, pretty much unharassed. And when you have a player of that ilk and that skill and that speed, and he gets a step on you, that's a problem. That's something the Dragons are going to have to address.
And maybe the game everybody was most looking forward to, certainly lived up to the hype, was Malden Catholic and Catholic Memorial. Malden Catholic coming away with a 4-3 win. It was a really good one. The crowd really into it on both sides of the puck.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all expected a series out of this, but then again, hard to tell with what has happened with CM in February and getting into the playing game and the drama surrounding that, obviously. But they were able to put everything aside tonight and play this game as they did, and they showed why they beat Malden Catholic earlier this season, not the 11-0 drubbing that went on later in the season, but they played that game that they did earlier in the season at Walter Brown. It was a tight checking game. Again, I thought the real key for them was to come out and establish the 4-check high against Malden Catholic. But then again, with that being said, Malden Catholic, when you do that, they can take it the other way on you. And I thought their net drive was really the key tonight. Tyler Sifferlin, Matt Philippe got in the show. Jack Adams had a nice scoring chance there. Jake Witkowski. I mean, really, I really felt that they had 3 lines rolling here tonight, which we've seen from MC, obviously, throughout their Super 8 runs, plural. I think the net drive was the big key to me tonight. The scoring chances were there for them, not quite on the execution tonight. But again, Tyler Sifferlin, I thought, played a tremendous game tonight. I mean, that second goal that he had, that's one of the prettier highlight goals that you're going to see anywhere in the season. That's what you see out of a Division I type hockey player commit. And if Malden Catholic can keep that going, again, whether CM can come back and muster that offense, they play better from ahead, but tonight that they showed that they can make it a game even if they fall from behind. So I think just that for Bill Hansen's group was very important to prove here tonight, and obviously we'll see what happens in Game 2.
It should be a good rematch when that happens up at Tsongas Arena. We'll get to that in just a moment. Then the final game of the night, BC High winning 2-1 over Xaverian. And Tim LaRock, really the story of this game for the Eagles.
Yeah, you never know when you come into tournaments or the postseason like this, who's going to be the kid that steps up. And obviously BC High playing without Patrick Kramer here today, who is out from that injury that he suffered against Duxbury down on the Cape at the end of the regular season. you need some of those other, first line and with some readjustment there. Steve DeForge stepping up onto the first line to play some center there today with that usual line. And then LaRock obviously playing a bigger role on that second line. A kid who, again, has all the tools there, big, rangy forward. And when he's really on the ball, as he was here tonight, he can take over stretches of a hockey game, as I thought he did in the second period. Just because of his size, his reach, the way he can A-frame, protect the puck, he can be a tough kid to play against in a defensive zone in a tight checking game, and that's really what bore out here, I think, in the second period. 2 goals from him. That's a very encouraging sign for BC High if they want to get past the series, because obviously I think, as Xaverian showed here tonight, they're not going to go quietly. This is a very tough team. Again, I've said it all along. I think their top line, I'd put them really against anybody in the state, and the X factor coming in was how Aiden Murphy, their freshman goaltender, would play. I think he acquitted himself very well here tonight.
And a very important game now for the losing teams going up to Saugus Arena at Lowell. It is a best-of-3 series, so Wednesday night we're looking at BC High and Xaverian in the rematch. So Xaverian, a must-win situation for them there. Malden Catholic already has the upper hand on CM, a must-win situation for CM Wednesday at Saugus Arena for both those 2 teams right there.
Yeah, you never want to fall, obviously, in a 3-game series. It's win or go home at this point. But, again, both of these teams, taking a look at Xaverian and BC High and CM and MC, both of these teams have a little bit of that framework. BC High and Xaverian tied BC High earlier in the year, early January, 2-2, a game in which they were leading in the third period and gave up a 2-goal lead. They can skate with this team. I think they know that. Talking to Antonio Marini after the game here tonight, they feel like they can skate with these guys, and that's what's really important, because BC High, they've been so successful this year in the transition game, and they really come up on teams, and if you're not ready for that, things can get out of hand pretty quickly, but they feel like they can skate for that team, so I think there's something to be said there for Xaverian. And meanwhile, again, with CM, I think they played the game tonight that they need to play. Of course, I think they're better when they play with the lead instead of having to come back as they did tonight. But again, I think the mental block for a team that has struggled offensively down, just to get shots on goal, never mind scoring in the second half of the season, and particularly in February, for CM to be able to come back and skate with Malden Catholic in an up and down, back and forth game, I think that should bode pretty well for their psychological, kind of advantage going into Game 2.
And then looking ahead to Thursday, it'll be Austin Prep and Central Catholic, Springfield Cathedral and Duxbury. Again, Duxbury and Central Catholic on the brink of elimination, pending a loss for them.
Yeah, for Duxbury, I think it's really find a way for Coach John Blake and company there to find a way to play their team game that has made them so successful, that got them to this point, but also be cognizant of that man that's circling high, waiting at the red line for that home run pass. And again, as I said, all of these Panthers forwards, they're so talented. If they get a step on you, it's off to the races, and it's probably going to end up in the back of the net. So Duxbury, it's kind of a happy medium. Being able to play in your system, take care of the neutral zone, as always, that is paramount, but also being able to take away that home run pass that got them a couple times here. But all in all, I don't think, again, with the goaltending performance that Tucker Kelly gave them tonight, I think that's another encouraging point here. He played, I thought, some of his best hockey in the third period, really. But again, with Central Catholic, for this group, it's kind of been always the bridesmaid, never the bride here in the Super 8 in the last couple of years. A team with Mike Jankowski that always does everything so well. They're so deep. They're very talented, good goaltending, solid defensive play. I really think it's just kind of, just go with it. Just go with it. Again, it's been a very even series for 2 non-league teams. They've played each other twice in the regular season. They are even there. A pretty even competitive game for the bulk here today. I think for Central Catholic, it really just comes down to the start. Don't play from behind the 8 ball with this AP team that, again, is very, very deadly offensively when they get off and running. But, again, just keep the commitment there, start a little bit better. But I think, for all of these teams coming into Game 2, I think that for after day 1 here, I think we're all pretty even here.
Yeah, very even and a very exciting tournament so far. Yeah. The series now heads to Lowell, Saugus Arena, 6 p.m., 8 p.m. Wednesday and Thursday. We'll be there for that. ESPN Boston, Scott Barboza right here, ESPNBoston.com. High school editor Mike Riley, ESPNBoston.com. We'll see you up at Saugus Arena in Lowell.